Welcome to week 3 of organizational politics. This week you'll continue your reading and responding to the reading in the survival of the savvy. You're going to be looking at the following chapters as you begin to talk about issues of networks and managing what people are talking about, promoting yourself with integrity and developing your image, the kinds of things that you need to do in order to get your ideas noticed, in order to connect with the people who can bring the power to bear to get things done that need to be done. And so you're going to find lots of good tools in there. As far as theory goes, you're going to continue to read from Power, Politics, and Organizational Change. At this point in the book, you are really getting into the heart of it. Don't forget to look at the chapter objectives as you read in chapters 3 and 4 and 5. The issue of making good judgment. Somewhat a little bit of what I talk about when I say gracious suspicion. What's really going on here? You also deal then with some of the negative pieces. The men behaving badly, and then the next chapter, women behaving badly, are great chapters, but a bit disturbing as you recognize others. And of course that will be the tremendous temptation to recognize others. But you must also look for yourself. In the lecture, we continue on with the ground rules of realistic leadership, and I outline 6 of those ground rules for you. We just take them one by one, learning from experience, gleaning information from the past and how it works. I repeat the lesson of gracious suspicion and take you to another level. Connect it to the 4 questions, and you'll take a look at that. I talk about the unarmed prophet. This is the idealist. This is the one who steps in with the right idea. The prophet who says, I'm going to tell you what you need to know. Not realizing that people don't want to know that. You have to build the network. And I compare a prophet of old from Florentine days to Martin Luther King, and I think you're going to find that to be a useful story. The next rule we talk about is crowd pleasing. The difference between consumers and comrades, those who really are on board with the program and those who are doing it only for what they get personally. And of course there's always a bit of both that's going on. The next rule, spotting trouble before it arrives. Probably 3 things that are hard to deal with, but so important. And you got to get them in your head and just get over it. Say, that's the way life works. Now, how are we going to work with it? Old injuries do not heal. That's hard for us to say, because as Christians we believe that God can heal, and He does. But often, when there's a change in power structures, when there's a shift in something, the old wounds come back again. Secondly, old agendas do not go away. People give up on things for a time. But again, when there's a power shift, when there's a new leader, when there's a change that takes place, it is amazing how those old agendas will come right back to the front. What we thought was settled is really not settled. And then people of faith can do cruel things. And that's hard. It's a shock that people of real faith can do such ugly, wretched things to other people. And they can do it in the name of being right. And this is the way it works. And you have to get a hold of that. You say, I don't like the way it works. Well, that's why you're there. Remember the statement. This is not this is not an easy world for kind people of principle. But we need kind people of principle to lead us. And that brings us into the final part of the chapter, which is emotional health and spiritual strength. Because leadership comes down to that, to really having a sense of who you are on the inside and maintaining that. And that's not something you just go out and get and say, I've got that the rest of my life. That is a constant challenge to keep yourself centered in Christ. And I think you'll find some helpful and useful things in that section. In fact, I took a little liberty in the final part of that chapter. I gave you a quote from my book on my soul purpose, which is really a story of my challenge as I went to a place of new discovery of who I am on the inside and what it means to keep myself centered. And just in case you're interested, I've showed you a lot of other books, but that's the book there. And I hope you'll find it helpful, because I wanted you to have that particular piece. Now, your assignment that comes at the end of the lecture are those 6 ground rules, and what you're going to do is look at one of those which is most helpful, most applicable to you right now in either your ministry or your career, where you are in your business or your church. Look at that. And then which one is most challenging or most difficult for you to get your head around or implement or embrace at this point in your development. It's going to be a good week. We're beginning to get down into the swampy lowland here, into where it really comes to the forefront. And I look forward to participating and reading your discussion together and your responses.